that my own mother said, if we're going to die, we're going to take some of them with us. I have visited Gaza, not extensively, but I have been there. And, for whatever reason, I was treated decently. I lived in the West Bank. I went back every year from 1988 to 1993. And I didn't meet Hamas people, because Hamas was already around back then. Do I walk away with a memory of homicidal fascist maniacs wanting to kill me? If I did, I would say it. And people have accused me of many things, but lying is not one of them. That's my answer. You're asking for something which, to my thinking, is superhuman, that they feel about the Jews having been locked up in that concentration camp for 20 years, what my parents felt for the Germans.
Okay,
wait a second.
Enough. We have to. Do you want to say? I'm sorry. I'm going
to hold
Cut it out.
this entire conversation. We have seen Mr. Finkelstein analogize the conditions of Gaza to a concentration camp. Yes, he has an Israeli sociologist who said it too, but he's starting with this analogy in order to justify homicidal mass murder. And what I would say to him is that I wish he would evaluate the fact that he cannot bring himself to simply understand that Hamas are the 21st century Nazis, not Israel.
But I make bad analogies.
Well, they are.
If I invoke,
they do what the Nazis do, which is just kill the Jews.
If I invoke the Nazis, it's outrageous.
Well, no,
but when he invokes the Nazis, that's permissible.
Well, no, I'm basing it on what they do, as opposed to
and actually,
my inner demons or whatever.
That's exactly what I did. I based my comment on what they do. I think locking people in a camp for 20 years, where you can't go in, can't go out, no food, for a full stomach, one half the population suffers from extreme food insecurity. And now, as we speak, exactly at this moment, fuel is not being admitted, which means the hospitals collapse and the water supply.
So why doesn't Hamas give them some of their fuel?
Why? Oh, because they have to kill more Jews?
Okay, Periel, first of all, you don't know that Hamas is not giving the fuel. That's what Israel says. I am not going by what I know personally. I'm reading the human rights reports. And the human rights reports, as we speak, they're coming out on a daily basis. If the fuel is not admitted, the hospitals will not function and the water will not be drinkable in Gaza, okay? That's what the human rights organizations are saying.
Okay. We're repeating ourselves
It's
now.
not about, at this moment, it's not about Hamas. I'm talking about the 2.3 million people. 2% of the food that they normally get, which means normally it's extreme food, and 2% is being admitted. Water is drying up. Hospitals are becoming dysfunctional. Now, that to me is a murder plan. You may not like to hear it.
Okay, sir.
But de facto, it's a murder plan. It's a death sentence for the people of Gaza.
I want to say the following about the Nazis. Comparing things to things is a tool. It's a strategy of advocacy. To compare something to the Nazis is a very powerful way to win an argument. All I would say is that if you were to compare factually what you've described as a concentration camp in Gaza, and then I were to list factually to somebody who never heard the word concentration camp what it meant to be a concentration camp in Germany, they would never think of using the same word to describe them both.
No, with all
you can find some. A concentration camp implies mass murder.
No, that's a death camp.
Okay, but that's what I understand. There's war camps. There's war camps and death camps.
Bergen-Belsen was a concentration camp.
But you know as well as I do that in the general public doesn't make that distinction.
The Japanese what we call them internment camps. They were concentration camps.
Yes, but that people don't make that fine distinction in everyday life. And I don't know the details of the work camps, but when you tell people it's a concentration camp, I believe you know this. You know how ignorant people are. They assume you're comparing it to the worst of Germany.
I'm quoting Baruch Kimmerling.
All right, well that's fine. All right,
Yeah, you found one.
Actually, you want a second?
You have another. You got another
Oh yeah, I
human rights
will.
report?
Actually,
the Gaza Ministry of Health, because they call it that too.
I would suspect that you would know Amira Haas.
Yeah, I do know Amira Haas.
Okay, and Amira Haas's parents were in the camps in World War II,
Okay.
and she once had to wrestle with that question. And if you're interested, since you said you want to do research after, just Google Amira Haas concentration camp Gaza. She lived there. To her eternal credit, she lived there, and she wrote a book, Drinking. Okay,
I am interested, but of course, everybody can pick somebody esteemed who agrees with them. So it's not an evidence.
Yeah, but it's not like you're pulling.
The question is what her arguments are. The arguments,
Fine, that's why I said.
Okay.
Google it, because Amira, I don't always agree with her, but number one, Amira is a stickler for facts like myself, and she's a political person.
All right.
And if you read her statements since October 7th, in general, they've been excellent.
All right.
They've been excellent. And she was careful to say, I have friends who've looked into it. There were significant atrocities that occurred on October 7th. I defer to her judgment. I know she's not a propagandist, but she was also very careful not to blame the people of Gaza for what happened.
Okay, Professor, thank you very, very much.